afternoon and welcome to the 2012 Distinguished Alumni Hall of Honor induction ceremony. Joining me on the stage today are our board president, Michael Keller, and the Lapeer Alumni Association president, Dick Sullivan. And of course, the first thing that I asked Dick when I got up here on stage was what Notre Dame did last night, and he informed me they did very well. They did win. To begin our program, we welcome a musical presentation by one of this year's Hall of Honor inductees and award-winning musician, Deborah Barber, along with her niece, Emily Barber. So, right now.
We don't need a mic. We're loud enough. Well, we're gonna sing a song called "What's Up." It's not political. Jared asked if we did something like not political, patriotic. It's not really patriotic, but talks about what's up. What's up in the whole world? It's the whole game. Here we go.
Thank you, both Emily and Deborah. That was wonderful. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Lapeer Community Schools Board President, Michael Keller, who has a few words. Michael?
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to represent Lapeer Community Schools at the 7th Annual Alumni Hall of Honor induction ceremony. You know, one of the greatest strengths in our school district lies in the community's commitment to its schools and the students who attend them. And you know, we see that commitment from this community in so many ways. From the recent bond issue that allowed us to construct and open 2 middle schools and make improvements throughout the district that help our students learn better every day, to showing your support and your team spirit at football games and other sporting activities and academic events. And now today, we see it again by honoring our alumni. By honoring our past graduates, we give recognition to the excellent education that they received attending our schools and the exemplary life that they've created. For each Distinguished Alumni Award recipient, past and present, this education extended beyond academics to community service and to commitment. And we sincerely thank all 23 members of the Alumni Hall of Honor and those who will be inducted today for that service and commitment. I've been asked to provide a brief history of the Alumni Hall of Honor and the Distinguished Alumni Award. In 2005, the Board of Education, community members, and staff developed the district's strategic plan, and in doing so, they identified the need to improve alumni relations. So as a result of the strategic planning process, volunteers from the Lapeer High School Alumni Association and the school district worked together to develop a plan to recognize distinguished alumni. The Distinguished Alumni Award would be presented annually to honor Lapeer Community Schools graduates, both living and deceased, who graduated from Lapeer Community Schools at least 10 years prior. Candidates for the award are to be noted in their field of endeavor or recognized for their expertise and their good works. They must be role models for youth, as well as demonstrated positive leadership and outstanding achievement, service, and contributions to society. This year, nominations include candidates from multiple decades from the 1940s all the way through the last decade. As we witness today's induction ceremony, we will further recognize the importance of the Distinguished Alumni Hall of Honor, and we will clearly see why today's inductees are so worthy of this special award. So on behalf of the Board of Education, Lapeer Community Schools, and all the great employees of our district, I want to thank the Alumni Association for supporting this event, and I congratulate our inductees and their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'd echo all of the words that he spoke. We do come from a unique community, and we also have probably more public involvement, more community involvement among our citizens than anywhere else I can imagine ever growing up and living. So it is an honor to be inducted into the Alumni Hall of Honor, Hall of Fame. And now, we have a short video presentation, and if you direct your attention to the screen. Well, at this time, I would like to have our current Hall of Honor inductees introduced, but before I do that, I missed my script a little bit here. I'd like to ask for all of our existing Hall of Honor members to please stand and be recognized. Now, I'd like to introduce our 2012 inductees. As I read your name, the inductee or the family member accepting the inductions are now invited to join me on stage. From the class of 1944, Mr. J. Wildfong. From the class of 1952, Barb Sweeney. And from the class of 1980, Deborah Barber. And from the class of 2001, Katie Kirkpatrick-Godwin, represented by her mother, Nikki Kirkpatrick. At this time, each inductee or his family member will accept induction into the Hall of Honor. Our first inductee is Jay Wildfong. To introduce Jay, please welcome former Zemmer Middle School principal and longtime friend of Jay's, Harold Harding. Mr. Harding.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce, and very happy to introduce, Jay Wildfong, a man that had a big influence on my life and my career. When I first met Jay and his lovely wife, Jane, they were living and raising a young family in Milan, Michigan, just south of Ann Arbor. Jay was teaching and coaching at the Milan High School, and I happened to be a brand new student at Milan, where I would be for my senior year. Didn't take long to find out from the students and staff why Jay was so popular. Wasn't just because of his ability as a teacher and a coach, but it was also because he was able to show students how much he cared about them, and all the extra things that he did that were way, way, way beyond what's normally expected of a teacher in a job description. Things that took him away from his wife and young family, evenings, Saturdays, sometimes on weekends, taking students to activities that he felt would benefit them not only in their high school careers, but well beyond that. Taking athletes to colleges to introduce them to coaches, taking them to athletic events, some of which were out of state, and two-day events, and the list goes on and on. Another thing that he and Jane did for student athletes, at the end of the year, they had a big steak dinner, which was delicious and very well appreciated by all the student athletes. The athletes that were graduating seniors. At this point, I could go on and on and on, but Jay told me not to go overboard on this introduction. So I have to honor the coach's request. Jay, if you'd come up, I'd like to thank you for all you did for me and those students back at Milan, and also mention that he was inducted into the Milan Hall of Fame several years ago, and I think it's very appropriate that he's being inducted here in his home school and hometown today. Jay, thank you.
Jay, congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't have much to say, but if I ever run for office, I'm going to have him as my chairman. Really, the teachers back in Lapeer taught me to behave myself, and when you try to do something, do it right. And I appreciate that, and I really appreciate the people that I've come back to meet with every year for the last 30 years, how they welcome me back home. I thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Our next inductee is Barbara Sweeney, and Barb actually asked me to introduce her. Knowing Barb for many, many years, I won't say how long, but I will add that Barb is clearly a longtime member and supporter of the Lapeer High School Alumni Association, and been very instrumental in the planning of alumni events and so forth. At Lapeer High School, she was an avid sports enthusiast, and she carried that on into her adult life on the softball field, as I've found. Barb spent 25 years in law enforcement, and that is how I met her. She's an active member of the St. Louis Chapel in Metamora. through my employment in the insurance business. Never with my hands cuffed behind my back. And she was, and this is something I did not know, that she was on the board of directors of Lapeer Community Credit Union, and that speaks volumes for her decision-making and counsel that she has had on that board. She lives in Metamora with her husband. There you are. I often see them down at Hadley at the golf course on Saturday mornings. And she's been a member of the Michigan Harness Association and the United States Trotting Association for many years. Barb has, I said, Patrick is a husband, 5 children, and without any further ado, Barb, come on up.
Barb, congratulations.
Congratulations. I got to put my 2 cents worth in the work that she does for the Alumni Association and where we wouldn't be today if it wasn't for her and all that she does.
Well, I'm not a speech giver, and he told me not to speak more than 2 minutes, so here I go. I'm so honored with this plaque right here, and I'm a very blessed person. All through the years, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with a wonderful husband, 5 great kids, beautiful grandkids, son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, relatives. I can't thank them all. And I want to thank everybody that showed up here today. My class of 52 components there. Tom and Michelle, Dr. Tom, Corinne, my Abi Warner, all my special, special friends. And Lynn, that's it. I'm not a speech giver. I'm just very grateful for what I have. And in the good old Lapeer High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Our third distinguished alumni inductee is Deborah Barber, who we were introduced to briefly at the beginning of the program. And she's going to be introduced by her niece, Emily Barber. Emily, you're on.
Thank you, Pat. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you my Aunt Deb Barber, who happens to be one of my best friends also. She's definitely always there. When she first asked if I would come up here and speak today, I actually asked her how much time I had available because it seems like the woman never stops. She's continuously giving of her time to my family, to her community, to her neighbors, to the Girl Scouts that are here with us today. So I was hoping that we had like 10 minutes, but I don't think we do, so I'll keep it brief. She really, truly gives of her time in a most willing and generous way. It's not for the public recognition. It's really just to be a part of something bigger than herself. She moved back home in January of 2009 to take care of my grandmother who had vascular dementia. And that's actually how we were able to bring her back into our lives. She'd been in Las Vegas for 16 years, pursuing her performing career, her music career. And when things slowed down out there, she came home to be with us. I think she learned a great deal about herself in that time and being a caregiver, and I think it prepared her for her role in the community today. I know that I certainly learned a lot helping her through that also. She passed away in April of 2011, but that last year has been probably the busiest I've ever seen her. I actually made a list of everything she's been doing for the last year, so bear with me. She formed the Zemmer Drumline with the help of Lori Liley. Also the Seton Drumline, where she held 2 classes of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, introducing them to the band program. She helped with the Zemmer Pep Band, the Zemmer Rock Band, assisting both Zemmer and Roland Warner with their percussion ensemble. She formed her own rhythm tribe, which is also another drumline that she did over the summer for students that were able to participate, where they performed at the Hadley 4th of July Parade. They did an awesome job. I was very proud of them. She's most recently assisted the Lapeer East High School Marching Band with their drumline. They've actually come quite a ways with their tutelage, with their assistance. She also gives lessons at the River Street Music Cafe, where she currently has 18 students. It fluctuates, ranging in age from, I would say, 3rd grade to retirement. You know, she's certainly willing to help them with their passion. She also helped the Girl Scout Troop 13258 of Metamora, where the girls had wrote a song, but they were entering it into a competition for the 100th year of Girl Scouting. Deb was also a Girl Scout earlier in her scholastic career, and she kind of felt compelled to give back to the girls. They won the competition with their assistance, and they went to Washington, D.C. and performed in front of 270,000 people at the National Mall. So it was a huge, huge accomplishment that I don't think the girls will ever forget Deb being a part of. They also were invited to an event at Grant Park in Chicago, where Deb and I went and helped the girls out as well. I think I've said enough. I will let Deb come up and tell you a little more. But again, it's my honor to present to you Deb Barber.
Deborah, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is like winning the Grammy. This is what I say. This is my Grammy. No, just kidding aside. I didn't even know this existed until Jared had called up and said, "You won this award." And I'm like, "What award? What did I do?" And looking back, you know, I came home to take care of my mom, and from all the teachers, from my Girl Scout leader, troop leader, she's back there, and I calculated it up. I've known you for 44 years, just so you know that. My 2nd grade teacher is over here. This is Jessup. principal, Mr. Harding, there's a lot of faces out here I've seen. You guys helped myself, grow to what I am today, along with my parents, and which are both deceased. But just coming back, it's like been a full circle. Coming back and being one of the family again, because I've been gone for quite a long time. But now I'm speechless. I don't know what to say now. Emmy said it all. Music to me is the soul. If you can't, it's like waking the kids up and coming back and seeing these kids here in the community again where I grew up. It's nice seeing that they come out and go and high five after their lessons and singing "I'm a superstar," because that's what it's about. It's about believing. And they taught my teachers, Sue, you were one just like my mom. I consider you just in the same realm as my mom. And you guys taught me a lot of who to become. And that's why I'm here today, is because of you guys. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Deb. Our fourth distinguished alumni inductee is Katie Kirkpatrick-Godwin. And speaking on behalf of Katie is her mother, Nikki Kirkpatrick. Nikki.
Congratulations.
I hope you'll bear with a mother's love and a mother's pride here. First of all, it's with deepest gratitude and appreciation that I and my family accept this award for Katie. We humbly thank the Lapeer Community Alumni from the bottom of our hearts for bestowing this honor on our Katie. Katie was well respected by many even before cancer entered her life. She did not need cancer to prove to herself or to others the magnitude of her faith. Her faith was evident in anyone who knew her or even knew of her. It was not as if having cancer made people notice her or her strength or her faith for the first time. Likewise, she did not need a challenge in her life that might transform her into a better person. She was centered on others rather than herself. She was already looked up to, a leader at school, and through her participation in church and community groups. She always took time for others. She listened to their concerns and offered advice when asked. She was kind to everyone, a bridge between social gaps in her school and a friend to those who felt they had none. So when people did learn of her cancer, they weren't surprised by her strength or her faith or her willingness to fight. She never doubted God or questioned him, and she surely didn't let cancer keep her from living. She was not consumed by her trial, and she continued to look outside of herself for ways to help others fight. That is what led her to the Lance Armstrong Foundation. She admired Lance Armstrong not for who he was as a person, but for the determination that he showed in fighting cancer and for not letting cancer keep him from living his life. It was her desire that the money she raised for the foundation might help others in their battle with this disease as well. I believe that God's plan for Katie is the same as it is for all of us, that we live our lives, no matter what our circumstances might be, that people might see God's glory in us. As amazing as Katie was thought to be by so many, it is not so much Katie that makes her story special, but the fact that Katie allowed God's glory to shine through her in all she did. And that's what makes her story so meaningful.
Thank you, Nikki. It always amazes me when you see the stories or hear the stories and see the videos of the various accomplishments that each of our inductees over the years have accomplished. And this year is no exception. So thank you and congratulations, all four of you. If I could, we'd like to close the induction ceremony And we'd like to thank some people who have helped make this possible. Quickly, flowers by Carol, the Chartwells, the Hall of Honor Selection Committee, Michael Keller, our president of the board, Danny Grinnell, the videographer, and Karen Roden, who brainstormed the move to central office here. So thank you. If I may ask our inductees to rise so that we can recognize you. And I'd like to thank everyone for attending. There are refreshments in the hallway down and to your left, and if you make another left, you'll see there's lots of mementos from the old Lapeer High School and some swing-out pictures, and take a look, a lot of which we can thank that person standing right there, Mr. Hollis Hayes, for putting together. So a lot of them. Thank you all for coming.